Hey, see what on tees. We are about to go in on the biggest week of the 2024 stock market year, man. Are you ready to kick this thing out, brother?
Let's do this,
Let's
man.
do it. Hey. What it do, KTTV? This is KT, and I'm coming at you live with another episode of the AdminisTraders podcast. This is KT, and I am with my co-host,
JoJo, baby.
Hey, what it do, Ortiz? Look, man, we are in the building. Man, we got a big week coming up, man. Jam-packed episode this week. Gosh, we got a lot of information coming out. Presidential election tomorrow. We got FOMC still happening. And on top of all that, we still got earnings just like Palantir crushed it tonight, baby. Look, I'm just gonna say that because I have a 2026 $37 Palantir call. I'm just saying, man. Bang, bang. Hey, look, man. How you doing tonight, brother?
Man, I'm good, feels like I was starting to get a little bit sick this weekend. But right now,
man.
Pushing on through with this job,
Hey,
but,
man, look, man.
And I'm excited about, what I'm really excited is that we're off tomorrow, get a little break, and then we can collect ourselves, go back to work.
Yeah.
But, with tomorrow's day off comes the election. And I think we've been hyping everything up to this point. God bless America, whatever happens tomorrow. I hope either one of them have what's in our best interest. But
hey,
the market will react one way or another. And I think that, I just want that moment to come and be over with so we can ride on out of this 2024 and see if we get that Santa rally to the end of the year.
I need that Santa rally, man. I got my head buzzed to the white meat today, baby. So, look, man, I agree with you, man. Everything has been good. Really being able to do more. We started the engaged coaching sessions, so that's keeping me a little busy, on top of my toes. On top of just simply, man, we don't have specialists. So, look, man, today I created an agenda for a PLC that I'm leading with the science teachers. The thing is, though, it's not like it's one grade level science teacher. It's not like it's one subject science teacher. They all so, man. Of course, we're doing like skill sets. Because a lot of them new are associates, but man, that's just an added layer on top when you're really trying to get it in. So it's real out here in these streets, brother. And the thing is, ready or not, here it comes.
Yeah.
So I agree, man. Just really waiting to get this election over with tomorrow. Let's see what do we have. And that's what we'll talk a little bit about in our news tonight. Just looking, since I think they data tracked all the way back to 1980. Just looking at what happens a week, a month, and by the close of the year post an election. So, man, we'll get into a little bit of that tonight, man. Any good things happening in the market for you over the last week since last time we touched?
I think your consistent ones. We're at that point where you'll see tonight talking about the same ones, but we for different reasons. Now we've been up, down. So now it's just you got to ride the momentum, especially if you have enough long term to where you can ride out and cash some out. You always want to be on the lookout for that. But I took some calls that were short term, got rid of a few, got burned on a couple, but I cashed out some earlier last week. Still holding on to a few for the 15th of November. But other than that, man, it's January and June. Those are all my calls.
January and June, man. Yeah, I was looking at I did grab a little quick spy, man. But other than that, man, I got a lot of money. I got one call. The rest in this my risky account is all cash, man. So it's several $1,000s, man, just waiting on the sideline. to see what happens. One Thursday, tomorrow, you know, you do a little nibble Wednesday because Thursday could be another by Uncle Jerome. So you know you gotta keep it kosher. But after Uncle Jerome talk. And I did have I will tell you one good win. And that boy say convert lead. Or I said it's a great man right there. Hey, hey man, but the biggest thing is the other week I was able to hold on to a $200 26 Amazon copy that I bought when it was way long time ago, man. So once they hit earnings, I think they went up about $11, $12 that day. They got right up to $199. And so I seen a little weakness. I had the stop loss set and it closed it out. And luckily, they came down about $5 since then, right? Because I knew because of how we always talking and setting up $200 is a psychological number. I seen that it did not break through. Get out of there. Simple tactics that we always talk about, man. So that's pretty much the business, man. I guess, man, let's get into a little bit of this news and then kind of look at what happens between elections and the stock market. Henceforth, our title for the night. Let's check it out. Right, let me take this off and now I will share this screen. So, all right. Shout out to CNBC.com for this nice article here. So what does the stock market typically do after the U.S. election? And what they want to do is kind of go back to the history, right? And so what they're saying is stocks typically rise after presidential election. But as we know, nothing goes in a straight line, right? So prepare for a little short-term choppiness because on one hand, right, we got big breaks for corporate tax. On the other hand, we got potentially higher tax on capital gains. So whichever side comes in, the market really has to kind of say, okay, this is where we're going and how do I adjust, right? And we know it's not about us. It's about the people who got the big money that really move this market. So I think that's what we kind of focusing on for tomorrow. So now what else do they say? The three major benchmarks on average have seen gains between election day and the year end in the presidential election going back to 1980. However, remember what I just said, don't expect a straight shot up in the market. So what I wanted to do was just quickly look at a few dates. So let's go back to 2020. Well, man, we remember them days right there, man. Man, that's when it all started. So the election, well, we 2.2% up the day after, 5% up a week after, 8% up a month later, and then by the year end, which was pretty much 2 months, 12%, 11.4%. I'm sorry. 11% in 2 months. You put your money over here, is something over here, it's 11% more than it was over here. And that's in a 2 month span. Man, you're not getting returns like that in life. Let's go over here. The market for 2016, 1% after, 1.9% the week after, 4.9% a month later, with a close of 4.6% overall. But now let's go back and look now because all of our information is not up. This was 2008, and we remember the crash of 2008. Remember the home sales, remember all those problems that were happening. Market was a negative 5% the day after, a negative 10% a week after, a negative 15% a month later. And for the year end overall, that was a negative 10% for the market. So will this happen each time? No, it will not. But if we want to go over data and we want to say what usually happens, the average is negative 30, negative 84. I mean, negative 0.30, negative 0.84. But after a month, we are back in the green. And this negative is now a 1.54%, right? So 1% is not bad. 1% is still profit. 1% of a lot is still a lot.
Yeah.
Okay. Our median 0.66%, 0.31%. But after 1 month, we are 2.3%. And after our year end date, 3.7%, right? So just looking is overall, I'm thinking hold on, which is like this January spy call I got. Good God. Just hold on, people. And we will see what happens on the other side. In fact, what it says, man, the Dow after the election, still the same thing. We still going up. The NASDAQ after the election, which is what we really are counting on because that's where our Mag 7 is,
Yep.
which is our market movers. We want to see another 15% run by them, 3% run by them, 9%. 2008 was just terrible for everything. We not going to even go back to that. But this is what I'm talking about. The year I was born, people was coming up after the election, 6% and then 4% overall total. Man, what you think about them numbers, Jose?
I think, hey, those that numbers don't lie when it comes to the data that you're chasing. And I think that you got a little bit of optimism with those numbers going, for a good close
Yeah.
to the year. But interesting. Just want to make sure that everybody heard what you said earlier. You have cash on the sidelines,
Yes,
you know,
sir.
getting ready, because even if we do, so have some sort of a, uptrend till the end of year, in the event and when those events happen that are choppy, it's good to have cash to buy stuff that you can carry you
Yeah.
through. Because if you put a little bit of money in toward the end and then you turn that 8%, 10%, that's still a nice little gain end of year. If you choose to play, the end of year, Santa rally, whatever you want to call it, I
Mm-hmm.
think it's good to have that cash now, or you can have positions now that you've stocked up, getting ready for the end of the year. What you don't want to do though is anything that's been relatively high. Uh, you really don't want to start adding those positions unless they completely drop and you're playing them short term.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're looking at your money makers that have gone up consistently over the past month or two. Um, you might want, if you're not going to be holding on long term, and I'll go over a little bit of that. What I mean when I look at, of course, the same stocks we've been looking at when I talk about that map, that chart. But
Yeah.
I think that if you're going to play the end of the year rally, you've got some good opportunities. But I think it's keen when you have cash, because you never know what could happen at any given moment in the market.
Yeah.
Either way,
I'm telling you, man. I know one of my accounts, if it drops, I just gotta bite it. I
yeah,
just gotta take it, man. I got no extra cash in there, bro. And so I'm just like, man, whatever happens with this one. But for me, I'm thankful that you finally get the hang and you learn. Cause I remember when Palantir went up to 45, maybe. I think I seen some weakness at that point when it couldn't get through 45. So I took the profit from that last one. I waited for it to get all the way back down to 40, which is how I ended up with this 37. And now we're just on another rinse and repeat, man. Like you say, man, the same stocks. You over time you get to learn them. I look at my boy Sean. Man, he kills IWM every day, man. That's
mhm,
pretty much the only place he making his money, man. Just IWM every day. So it's not like going out and just looking at this whole list. For me, I do go through my list a little bit more because I'm looking at what's at the 4 hour that is testing. So like today, I'll show you one that's at the 4 hour for me. That is a pretty big level. So as we go through the stocks, man, but really that's it, man. I think what we'll do, let's take a quick break. And then we'll get into the heat check because it is crazy out here for the election. We'll be right back.
You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the giddy up. Secure the bag, yeah, I get the bus. Pick it up, pick it up, pick it up. You see the drippy, I'm fitted up. Hop in my car and the
Welcome back to the Administrators Podcast. This is KT with my co-host
JoJo, baby.
Hey man, y'all got a bad with y'all got a bad with JoJo tonight, man. But say you're a little under the weather, man. Shake it off, dude. I got the castor oil over here. Anytime, bro. All you gotta do is call me, man. We passing our castor oil and Dr. Tishman antiseptic on site. All right, man. Look, what we'll do now, y'all. Let's jump into a little bit of the heat check. And as you know, inside of the heat check, we are looking at not only our S&P 500 heat map, but we also want to look at our fear and greed index, and we want to look at the VIX. All right. So as we go through each one of them, we will kind of explain, help those make a little more sense to you. First one we'll start with is the S&P 500 heat map. And for this map, hold up, man. Can we see up here? Let me take the branding off again. All right. Bam. Going over to the heat map. Woo! My God, bro. It's rough out here today, man. So I see a little green, but most of the market, I would say almost 55% of the market today closed in the green. But when we look at the market movers, when we look at Berkshire, when we look at Chase, when we look at Microsoft, Google, Apple, Meta, Amazon, Lilly, all of Tesla, all of these are ones that move the market, and everybody is down today. So for me, that tells me the big boys are not ready to come outside yet. But when they do, if you notice, the price of these stocks, $240, right? $806. Where's Amazon? $195, $169, $560. Look, this ain't no little money hide. As soon as they come out, they buying big shares, spending big $557. All of these are the companies that was down. Retail traders not dropping big companies like this, right? We may drop some penny stocks, but right now this is big institutional money saying it is not time to come out and play yet. And when we do, they may drop it some more, or they may take it back up. I look at that Exxon, look at this oil though. What happened over here? We kind of shining today. I want to go back. That shell is on my radar. But Jose, what you think about this heat map?
Well, the one thing that, when you study the market and you've been looking at, at the top where you got your different shades of red and green, one thing I want to draw everybody's attention to is the amount of, bright red versus dark red. Mm-hmm. So if we look at, and even your greens are darker greens than the bright I'm on fire green. So that tells me that we are pretty much at a choppy standstill where we're, maybe a couple of days ago we were bright red because we were dropping. But now I think we're steady, we're choppy. We're holding on to the minimal losses for the stocks. Nothing is down too much at the moment because I really think we are lowering ourselves gradually for a uptick that will happen, this week, if all else fails this week. So, and then I think it's a reflection when you go into the fear and greed after this, that it's kind of on point with the way this looks right now with your grays, your light reds, your dark reds. We haven't, today in particular wasn't as bloody as it was last week, which to me tells me we're still going down, but we're kind of finding, so to speak, quote unquote, our bottom. Maybe this is the bottom or maybe tomorrow we tick down a little bit more, or this could be setting up for a huge breakdown tomorrow, which could
Yeah.
then set us up for a huge breakout this week. So, but I think
Man.
right now with the way that it's setting up, it looks favorable for something toward the upside this week.
And so what I was looking at, I guess we can go over and kind of look at. Oh, dude, I was playing this at 124. I just realized it's 115, bro, and I did not keep my call. I mean, keep my put. My God, Kendrick. All right, here we go, right here, man. So let's take a look at SPY. I want to kind of take a look at SPY, but I can't get to my chart. Wait a minute, what's that? Wait a minute. Okay, now let's go over here and see if we can take a look at the S&P 500. As Jose said, we are still going down, and so what we want to see is, are we making? Whoa, y'all know how we get down up in here, but that thing there, bro. I got levels, man. Got levels, man. I wish you would. All right, so let's take a look at what we got here, y'all. So first thing we see is remember our blue line is our 60-day moving average. Our green line is our 20-day moving average. And our our yellow line is our 200-day exponential moving average. So as I look, and they say, I'm noticing everything is below my EMAs. That automatically tells me downtrend. Am I looking to buy short term here? No, I am not. Right? So now it's telling me I got to get a little bit more surgical. But also, this is telling me, let's see if I can go back. Look at this gap right here. That means there was a lot of pressure. And so this was last week, October 31st. And so if you can see, we have not gotten over that same price since then. We came back, we tested it, but what happened? Rejection. We got some big buyers coming in right here. But then what happened? Rejection, right? Lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows. So the biggest thing is still in a downtrend, still looking like we having a little bit of selling pressure. In after hours, we had selling pressure. And so this is how our day looked today. Oh my God, don't get that together. This is how our day looked today. Today, the range was pretty much 572 to 568. And what happened when we got down here around 567.98? If you bought your calls down here, you made a little break. Unfortunately for me, I thought 568.40 or somewhere up in here was our test spot. And then that thing got down here. I said, oh man, I was trading out the 1 minute. I said, oh yeah, it's over, baby. And next thing you know, got trapped in that thing, man. Got trapped in there, baby. It was ugly. So, man, I agree with you, man. We are starting to make we still making lower lows. That just tells me we could have more to go, man. More to go. All right, our next one. Let's look at our fear and greed. What we do, we may skip that VIX, and so we'll run this one, man. I'll let you kick this one off, Jose.
So, what I was saying earlier about the fear and greed. So, if you see right now, definitely we are in the fear side. A week ago we were, also in the greed. So in the greed. And so when I looked at that and I looked at the market conditions for the past week, I definitely see us going a little bit more, to the fear side while we navigate through, this election and then this week. But, we were starting to get neutral, last week. And so we ended up closing today, at the fear. Remember what we were saying about, though, that greed is when it's time to start selling. Extreme greed, you better get rid of what you got if you're not playing anything super long term. So now we're getting ready to that buy zone, like we were talking about. So you have to remember, just because it's fear doesn't mean it's necessarily bad. Because eventually, if it's really good, it's going to get really bad, and if it's really bad, it'll get really good. So just remember that, unless somehow, some way, we have a tragedy and we have something that happens to spark, fears and doubts of an economic recovery and an economic sound plan by either one of the candidates, I think then we start looking at an extreme fear, and we stay there for a while, because with any change of head, or no matter what happens, um, you know something systematically could hurt the economy, the economic system, the economic factors. You just never know, and if that does happen, like Kendrick said, man, you got to have that cash. Cash is king,
Yeah.
because what you don't want to start to do is panic selling, and you don't want
Yeah.
to start panic buying either,
hmm
because you never know. So I think that if we start getting to that point of extreme fear, and we seem like everything looks like it's doom, I would gradually start buying, because there could be a lot of people out there with a lot of chatter about whatever that may not necessarily be true. But I do also believe that, I don't think we're in those kind of dark times right now. I don't think so. You never know, but
Yeah.
I do think it's getting close to that. You start nibbling a little bit here with this fear. Um, my advice, Kendrick, is that if you are going to open up positions in fear or extreme fear, that you start looking at leaps that are at
Yeah.
least March. You know, perhaps add to any June calls. But some of the June calls have made money right now, so it doesn't make sense to add to those. Um, if we need to sell them, we sell them. But I think that you open up different positions that are either March,
Mhm.
June, et cetera, like that. I
Yeah.
don't know if we have enough time with the fear factor that could take us even more so to the left to open up anything new for January. Um, I just don't know, how much we can gauge it until we get a better picture this week. So,
Mhm. Yeah, man. One thing I'll be looking at is so when you think about Kamala and you think about the taxes, right? Even if she has the craziest tax plan, it all still has to go through Congress. So on one hand, I'm kind of like, okay, let's play this out. Let's see what happening, because unless it's a landslide Democratic pull from everywhere, then it'll be a little work, and it'll be some checks and balances on this. On the other hand, we got tariffs, right? And so the thing is, we don't have to get approval for tariffs. If Trump says China will pay and they want to tax everything, that could be the economic downturn problem that would definitely kind of send the market in a spiral, because you think about our chips, you think about so many pieces of technology, right? You think about Apple, you think about Nvidia, you think about Amazon, all of those pieces of getting things from outside the country to support their business. It's going to be very expensive, right? And so that is, a lot of analysts have said that is what is going to break the country if that happens. But my only worry, and the part that got me in fear, is there is no checks and balances on that. All right, he could just say tariffs in his own, and so we have to figure that. But that is why we don't anticipate. We get confirmation, and we react to what's happening as we see things happening in real time. The most times I got my head bust is either I did not set a stop loss, or I anticipated what it was going to be versus wait for confirmation, and then that thing took off on me. And so, hey, that's it, man. All right, bro. I think if nothing else, what we'll do, man, is let's get out of here and let's get into a little trading with Ortiz. We're gonna take a quick break, and when we come back, it's on.
Love the chase and the hunt, and I set the pace when.
Hey, we are back. Another episode of the Administrator Podcast. This is KT and your co-host,
Jojo, baby.
Hey, that boy's in the building, man. So, Ortiz, man, we're about to do a little trading with Ortiz. What do you have for us this week, brother?
All right. So, two of my favorites, of course, but I want you to see something moving forward. There was one of these that we had talked about, but I didn't show you the chart, so to speak, but we did talk about it. KT showed you some things about it. But my first one is definitely going to be, Apple, because what I want you to see is that Apple had earnings. And if you look at this chart, and this is a 7-day, and now this is my 1-month chart. If you look at from where we were, and then we think about, the last time we were on, we took this little ride up, we kind of stayed steady. But then, we had those earnings, and Apple did go down, even though, their forecasted was not too bad. But at the same time, they had a lot of, profits that were pretty good. But nonetheless, people do get off and they sell their their shares. So what I really wanted you to see about Apple is that if we had that line right there from our 222, which was around October, before the 15th, up until right around now, we've kind of hit a double bottom. Definitely double bottoms are something that is intriguing to us because it usually signals a change to the upside. Well, lo and behold, we have a 31.94 relative strength index, which means that we have just crossed out of our 28, our 29. So we were oversold, and we are starting to break out of the oversold. But one more, like Kendrick likes to call them, confirmations. We have our, MACD with our, 26-day, 200-day. Look, we got this gap that we could fill and then move up to the upside. Now, my personal opinion is because of those, if anything is going to happen after January with anything negative, like KT was saying, when it comes to tariffs, I believe with the technical side of Apple, you're going to see an uptick before the downbreak. So if there are tariffs, if there are things that are going to significantly impact any tech stocks from either candidate that'll get all approved come January or whenever they start talking about it, I do believe we are in an uprise now until that moment happens. If you look at the fundamentals of the chart, you see the double bottom, you see a chance for a breakout. So I know, we beat it, to the ground, but Apple is one of those mainstays that I am looking at. And then the other one was, I don't really talk about Microsoft a lot, but I want to make sure that when I tell you this, Microsoft had earnings. We had talked about Microsoft being in a downtrend. It didn't really do much to the upside, but it did nonetheless move to the upside. And so KT and I had been talking about it, but it did ride all the way up to 437. So if you were listening and you caught that 409, I think KT
Hmm.
caught it. KT caught it. He caught it. 409 to 436. You had a
Yeah.
$27 difference. And remember,
I'm just saying, rinse and repeat, baby.
yep, everything that goes up comes down. And what do you know? It did. And so we are now hovering around 408 again.
Mhm.
What do you see here? Double bottom. And so now the reason why I'm talking about Microsoft because it's another tech giant that has room to run between now and end of year. Maybe we go to a little bit, just a little bit more to the downside, sitting at a 36.2 relative strength index. We're not quite oversold yet, but we are getting there. Um, it doesn't always take it to go all the way down. And you see our MACD lines are still have a little bit of a gap. So there could be a little bit, room to the down. What if we did come down to our 402, 403 area to where now we had the other double bottom that we had here over the 1 month uh, to 3 month chart. So those are the two stocks that I'm looking at, um, and that to buy. But then the other one that I'm looking to sell, because I don't always talk about that, is yes, I've held my Starbucks, and if you were,
Man,
you know that I had several calls that expire in January that were $100 calls. If you were really with us, you know that we bought them, or that I got in even before it was, the $90 that it was before. So we've been in this probably since what, August, or no, is it
man,
the,
I think it was probably. I know me. I jumped in after when it went down to $77.
yeah,
I bought. I started buying in.
yeah.
They
So
were shares though.
right, so we definitely, yeah, right around here. So you're talking about, then we have this time right in here. Yep, summertime was when I looked at it and I said, man,
Mhm.
we got to do this. And
Man, that
so I
Starbucks.
fell through. So if you got in, and I'm telling you, they were not expensive at all for
No.
$100 calls. You know, you've made some money. So
Yep.
we're almost at the top. We're almost oversold. I mean, overbought. We're looking at a gap. So I'm going to try to ride this out a little bit more. I know we don't want to get too greedy, but I do believe that we are at a time now. Now remember, let's get one thing straight. If you've had multiple shares, multiple calls, multiple puts, and you make money, it is always in your best interest to cut a few loose. Always
Mhm.
trim, always take profit, and between this ride through here, of course we sold some, and we kept some. So now I'm down to like three or four that I still own out of the original 10. So think about it that way, where you want to be able to sell and make your money that you've made, and still be able to get back in it and relax at a later date, y'all. So you have to, when something is inexpensive to buy and you think that it's a very good company at $71, realistically, you have an opportunity for at least a 10 or 15, 20% increase over the course of July through the end of year, with earnings in between. That is why I made the call to go, because not too long ago, Starbucks was sitting at a pretty 115. So you have
Yeah.
to think about it realistically. What could you make? A lot of people think about 10%, 15% over time. And so if you do it that way, you're looking at, I'm talking about, you're paying $30 to $40 for
Mhm.
calls for the stock to move $20 in 6 months. That's, you, when you find opportunities like that, you have to take them.
You gotta,
That's what we
you
did with
gotta
that
take it.
Starbucks.
You gotta tell you got. Look, I'm telling you, I got some right now. I'm just look. You wouldn't believe how many plug shares I got. I just been waiting like this to say one day it's gonna all.
Oh
Don't
yeah,
get me wrong. Plug had a good day today. They did have a good day today, but I'm just saying like this. Wow. You just gotta when you see it down like that, you say, okay, they got earnings in 3 days. Man, all I need is $3. You can give me four. Oh my god, if I get $4, it's over.
yeah.
Nah, man. Now what if they go back to 70?
Woo!
All right, man. That will do it for Trade with Ortiz. So just to recap, we're looking at a little Apple because we're saying that they are at a 31 RSI, which means they just came from relatively oversold. We still got a little bit more down pressure, but we could make our way back up,
Yes.
especially our long term. And then you said Starbucks has been holding on to those 90s. I don't remember the RSI, but did you say it looked like it could go down, or are you about to sell because you
Yeah,
think
I'm
it's
about
going
to sell
down?
based on that RSI. Yeah. About to
Okay, so
sell.
the RSI on them was high.
Yeah. We're getting.
Okay,
Well,
okay,
we're still not at 50 yet, but
okay,
it's getting to the point where we can be comfortable selling.
okay. There it is, man. And nobody ever went broke. Take your profits. All right, y'all. What we'll do, man, we might wrap this thing up a little earlier than usual tonight, but that's
Uh-oh.
all right. There ain't nothing wrong with it. So what we'll do, let's take a quick break, and we will do a little platform probing. We'll be right back. Oh my God, y'all up? Look, one way to fund your stock account is through your side hustles. This week, I was fortunate enough to make almost 1,100 off of the side hustles. We finna turn that into 35 or something. But that's what I wanted to say before we jump into this platform probing because the side hustle's getting it in, and this is just the weekend. All right, let's go. Platform probing. All right, in tonight's platform probing, I wanted to pull up one of our fan favorites. We going to some old school Coca-Cola. Now, remember what I told y'all. For me, anytime I am going to look at a stock and I want to say, what is it going to do long term? I'm always going to go play off the 4 hour, right? So I look at this on the 4 hour. I came over here. I looked at this on the 4 hour. You see, it's still a little bit up under that thing. It ain't ready yet. But let's go back to what was that? Let's go back to Coke. I digress. So I have been watching Coke for a little while, and what helped me play on this one was patience. Patience. As we go over to Coke, one, we know that Coke is a good company. They recently just reported their earnings, so we got 106 days before then, and we get to look and see what's happening right here, February 25th. So from the Q2, which was in July, to now October, we did lose a little bit in earnings, right? Henceforth, we got this nice sell-off. And so this sell-off started October 17th, and here we are, November 4th, back at our test spot. So the reason I say the test spot is because I drew my line over here and look at how many times in this 4 hour that we danced inside this chart, right? We came here, we pushed through. So now here, this line is resistance, but what happened? We bust through. And now if you look, this line now is resting the stocks or the candles are resting on it, which means now that line is support. So we got support, we got support. We failed, but we had an EMA to pick us up. So that means it's still support, and then we went on a ride right here. But we seen the ride building up right here. So what is the boy saying? We got that same ride getting ready to build up over here. So the thing is, what I do, because I wait and I try to become patient for my calls when I'm going long term, now my stop loss is set about right here, right? So if this comes down and it closes and I have a full candle, that means it has broke the line. And do you see this candle right here? This is a full candle close under my support line. If this full candle closes under here, that is my notification to sell my stock. So the way this works out is a lot of the times I get busy and I don't look. Next thing you know, I'm way down. Stop loss not set. I'm slaughtering myself. But I got it for a long time. So that's usually how it goes. But on this one, I am really watching because I know that there's a lot going on. So if I see that we close under here and we end up anywhere in here, I will close this position and I will wait until we get back to support. But I am hoping, because history is a great predictor of the future, that when we get ready to bounce a little bit, it will be coming from here and it may take us back up to our highs of $73. Right. And so when you got a $50, $60 delta, you really look for moves like that because you know, oh, it's gonna get good when it go. Man, what you think about that code, Jose?
I'm looking at the chart, man. I like that.
Yeah.
You know, now I'm like, okay, let me put that on my watch list.
Hey, I'm just saying, man.
There
I'm
you
just
go,
saying.
baby.
Like I know. All right, and for the next one, just want to kind of get with this NVIDIA. You know, when we think about stocks that will change our lifetime, everybody, all the analysts are saying that NVIDIA is going to be what will spark the next wave of generational wealth. I agree. Everything we've seen now has to have chips. I don't even care if you almost got a fan cooling off your office. It got some kind of chip in it. Cars have to have chips. Everything must have chips. And so we want to always look at who is the leader in the industry, who is going to take us. And so right now, we said NVIDIA is that person. We are looking at the stock, and I want to bring it to you because if you look, we are no longer resting on our 20-day EMA. We have dropped below, and right here today, we closed below. So now I want to see what is about to happen. Today, I was able to get it in there. I had two calls, matter of fact, because I doubled down on them. So I was able to get in, make a few hundred, boom, get out of there. But right now, what I'm waiting to see is I want us to either get back to here, because if you can look on this line, we will support it, and then we took back off. Or I want us to get down to here, and I'll be able to make a decision at 132, right? Because that's pretty much where I bought my last call. I think like when we got down here, I was able to kind of ride that thing on up. But lo and behold, what happened? And we are back down. Very, very volatile right now. But see, everybody is afraid, right? Wish you could have got to the VIX and you would have seen how crazy it was. All right, now this is the last one before I get ready to close this down. Our Palantir. Okay, so now when we talk about when do I want to get in, remember what I told y'all. I waited for Palantir. I jumped in, and then when it got up here, I rode it all the way up here from like 30 something. I had that call for a while because I thought 2026. But this is what made me say, okay, I have rode it up. I don't think you got a lot of profit left. Let me get out because I seen right here, this is telling me we got some problems. And lo and behold, what happened with Palantir? We came all the way back down. But when we came back down, did we break our 60-day EMA? No, we didn't. And so if we come down, but we don't break this, that tells me that that is a healthy pullback, right? That tells me all we're doing is gaining and gearing up for our next leg up. And so right now, after hours, Palantir is now back up here. Woo! But it's all saying I wanted to throw my name back in the hat because I watched my chart and I seen that we have support here. Now, once again, this can go the opposite way. But if you buy in the middle, let's say I just go and I randomly buy right here, then where is my stop loss? Is my stop loss way down here under here? If so, how much money did I lose? But if I get my stop loss here because I see support and then it goes to right here, it's not that much money. And I just let it close under there and I got out of it. That's not that much money. We talking maybe 1 point, maybe 1 to 2 points. That's it. And then we get out because it's only 40.97 right here. And right here, I'm 40.62. Even if I went down a little bit more, right? 40.50. Because I'm trying to see what happens with inside of that little small window that I'm giving myself before my stop loss hits. Because I bought right here. And I know if this breaks, then we got room to come down to our 200, which is down here. We can go all the way back 34, 33 if we just get nasty with it, right? Especially 35.89 because that was our previous resistance or support. So all I'm saying from the platform proving is, I preach this all the time. Take a look at what your 4 hour is doing. Because remember, if it finds support on your larger time frames, that is only telling your smaller time frames to push up. So that's usually what's going to happen. So pay attention to these. This gives you a place to set your stop loss, but you got to be patient. So that is a prime example of when we would shoot our shot, so to say. But when we come over to AMD, we can't shoot our shot right here, y'all. Because once again, where is my stop loss? Where you gonna put your stop loss at? You gonna put your stop loss way down here? Is that where you going? You gonna say if it break through that, you can't do that. That's a whole lot of money, right?
That's a whole lot of money.
That's a whole lot of money. What you gonna do? You gonna put your stop loss right here? I don't trust it. You could because we see this is a support level. But man, I'm just gonna stay out of it till I get back up here. How about that, right? Because we know we in a downtrend, but the question is, how far we gonna go? If anything, I'm gonna get in once I see support here, or I'm just gonna be patient and see if we're gonna get back down here. Even if we don't, brother could dream. Or even if you do go right here, which we see that could be a point for a bounce. Now you got a place to get your stop loss. But don't just buy on those freestyle places. Wait until you find a support. That is when you go in for your calls. Now, for one, I've been waiting on this right here to get under $600. So you best believe I'm already done picked up a few shares of this, man. And so really, if you look back over here, October 15th, we were at 875. November 4th, we are at 671. nothing too much changed with this company. If you look, earnings was up, but it was so much going on with Taiwan, semiconductor, a whole bunch of things that just made this company go down. But it ain't over. Analyst ratings still say buy. The 1 year price target for this stock is 9.23. Why wouldn't I pick it up at this price right here? Now, am I doing calls? No, I'm doing straight shares. But I know that this has the potential to get back up to 800s. Pay attention, people. All right. Man, I think that'll do it for us tonight, man. Overall, watch that Coke, people. Just seeing what's going to happen next with it. Buy at your levels, support and resistance, because you got to have somewhere to set your stop loss. I'm not just going to wait till this goes up here, and then that's when I'm gonna put a stop loss. I'm gonna buy it way up here and then put a stop loss. You can't do that. You're gonna get yourself hurt. Flat out, people, you're gonna get yourself hurt. Next thing, this the last one, man. I promise. We got SQQQ, I'm sorry, right here on a major support level. Anything happen in this market tomorrow, QQQ may take it on up out of here. I'm hoping not, but just in case, you got to be ready. This is short term. Get in there, get you some. Man, I think that's gonna do it for Platform Probing, y'all. Oh, gosh, my God. All right, man. That is pretty much it for Platform Probing. I think that'll do it for the night, Jose. We got 56 minutes. Man, what you got to close us out, man? Any closing word?
Stay tuned tomorrow for the election.
Look, man, I hope y'all went out and voted. If you have not, God bless you tomorrow with those lines. We got a little rain coming. I hope that does not deter the people from getting out. Please make sure that you go out and vote. Also, make sure that you are looking later this week. We have interest rate decisions on Thursday. Right now, we're looking maybe 25 more basis points. So we could have some momentum movers this week too. So if you got cash, this is your chance to double up if you do it right. So make sure you pay attention. I think that'll do it, brother. It's time to land this plane, man. Big shouts out to everybody who tuned in, shared, subscribe. As we get out of here, this is KT with my co-host
JoJo, baby.
Hey, this is KTTV. We'll see y'all next week.
This is Darnell with Broadcast Houston.
This is Dr. Tamara Beckford.
Hey, this is Candace.
This is London Underwood.
This is Kirsten Bass with Inner City Greens, and you're watching.
Y'all are now tuned in to
KTTV.
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 KT